too. They saying I gotta learn how to read in between the lines. I'm saying they them don't know how to read in between the lines, right? And it's not to say that they're illiterate. The literacy rates are pretty low, um, but we're dealing with a different mindset right there, right? That's why I'm sharing this quadruple, it's three different circles interlocked in a Venn diagram kind of a way. And you see the books on there. These are classic books. A lot of them were made in the movies too. 1984 being at the top. I'm seeing my man DeAndre, Detroit HP TV. Shout out to him. He brings up that book often. Uh, they Live is a classic one. That's actually the movie more so. It must be a book too. A lot of books be like Stephen King books, horror books. What else we got on here? Fahrenheit 451. Now I actually seen the movie. I never read the book. I seen the movie first. Shout out to D Real. He the one that introduced me to it. He had that on VHS. This was post 2000 too, and we still was watching on movies on VHS. That and the Spook Who Sat by the Door. Those are two classics we used to watch all the time. The Matrix, of course, is a popular one. Animal Farm is the other 1984 George Orwell's books. Lord of the Flies, that's one that I brought up to my son because he's just starting high school. So I know that's one that was like mandatory in high school back when I went there. We had to read Lord of the Flies. So good book, great. I don't even know. Did they ever make I'm sure they made 2 or 3 movies about it. The movies probably weren't that good because it's hard to really do a savage teenage movie, and really make it savage as far as political ideologies, concepts, and methodologies, right? What else we got on here? Mad Max is always a good one. We already said that. Brazil, I'm not too familiar with, and so on and so forth. Hunger Games is Idiocracy. There's a whole bunch more. But when I'm resetting because I've been dealing with my man Brent and Fathers Read 365. So that's why I came up with the 4 books that I've been talking about. The Three Little Pigs. Which books did I mention? Three Little Pigs, Pinocchio, Boy Who Cried Wolf, and Little Red Riding Hood. I did mention Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but that's different. Alice in Wonderland is a little different. Those are different. The reason why I mentioned the 4 that I started off with is because they all have the common enemy, and that's the big bad wolf. Even in Pinocchio, it is the big bad wolf that stops Pinocchio from going to school, even though his dad told him to go straight to school. Don't be talking to strangers, The classic line that you tell the kids, and they find themselves on an adventure and then end up in the belly of a whale, right? So these are very religious books, and they break them down. They're political books, and there's a science to them and or methodology or what we like to say is psychological ideology as being scientific, which it ain't. I mean, you do use a little bit of actuary science and statistics to justify the psychological, ideology. You'll notice a lot of people using that a lot. They'll use that more so than concepts or even methodologies. But those 3 go together like truth, love, and courage. It's just that the understanding or the knowledge, wisdom gets convoluted and confused, as you can see when you're using more than 3 circles. The typical Venn diagram is 3 circles overlapped. This one we use 4, and then we're right smack dab in the middle of this craziness, and that's where I'm going at today with the show today. This is Volothan Modulus Tautology. Once again here to bring some hip hop lives or lives or life. We about that. We about that. We about to having peace and happiness. We not about hating, right? Even though that's what they putting on my culture, on our consciousness, and most importantly, our community. Or is it the other way around? We're still trying to figure that out. There it is. There it is. So I'm gonna share with you today two. One, I'm gonna go with Royce White. I'm gonna share some Royce White, just 5 minutes. You know how I do, and then I'm gonna share 5 minutes of Booker. Now we'll get. I'm gonna share Royce first, and then I'm gonna go into Booker, and then we'll. It's like who's Booker? We'll we'll rap about it. Anybody that's familiar with the old TV shows, no Booker was the janitor, right? Good times and good times, right? Or was that Bookman, right? We Booker or Bookman is always the janitor, right? But and then the janitor is always the help with the apartment. But we're trying to build houses. We're not trying to just live in apartment buildings anymore. That's how a nation truly builds wealth, and that's why they've been denying housing for foundational Black Americans. Right? They'll give you an apartment to rent out forever and ever, but they're not going to let you let us buy some housing and be truly a part of the demographics of the true political economics, should I say, right? But there it is, and then therein is where we about to take it to whole new levels. Hip hop started out in the park, and I'm gonna share right into that. But anything else I want to say? I think I said more than enough. If I might have bored some of y'all, y'all ain't paying attention. Anyhow, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. That was 6 minutes in. Each video was 5, so that's another. So I might not even go the whole 30 minutes today. I'm gonna play a little bit of Kung Fu today. I'm gonna take it back to Kung Fu, classic game where you're trying to make your way through the stairwells. It's based on which one is that? Bruce Lee's the Game of Death, maybe. One of his movies, I think it's The Game of Death, is based on. But I just figured I'd play a classic game, a classic fighting game. It's one of the first side-scrolling beat-em-ups, is what the genre is. And that and Karateka, the first two. I was going to play Karateka, but I figured I'd start with this one on the Super Nintendo, because there ain't nothing else really to do. As I also break down what I'm about to share with y'all. So, like I said, make sure y'all subscribe, because I'm trying to get up to 100 subscribers. Hit the like button. Share this post with other, and hopefully y'all was entertained. And there it is. More hip hop coming. And as I pause and stop some of these things, and y'all can check it out and let me know how it came out. All right. So let me mute some things and then go right into the actual video.
Gay people, gay, the LG, gay, bisexual, gay, transgenders, gay, homosexual, queers, gay. And the plus is super gay. The plus is as gay as, it's ultra, it's uber gay. So, I'd
be careful. I think they throw people of color in there now.
and that's my point, right? And now, BIPOC and black people and, it's just an all-inclusive, and they say it. They come right out and say it. It's kind of strange that there's even a sizable portion of the American populace that believes it. Honestly, I wake up sometimes and I just sit there and think, we're on the brink of civil war about the most bizarre thing I could possibly imagine. I don't remember a movie or a book or a TV show or a cartoon that had a more bizarre plot to it. And this shit is bizarre. It's really bizarre. And look, there have been lesbians since the beginning of time. There have been gay people since the beginning of time. There have been bisexual people since the beginning of time. Alexander the Great was, supposedly bisexual, and his cousin and the Greeks. And we know that there was a huge part of our Western history where very, very successful empires and nations, such as the Greek Empire, and even there in Rome, there were a lot of sexual proclivities that us Christians would say is immoral and unnatural. But the transgender thing is completely new. Now, were there cross dressers and whatnot? Okay, that's different. A woman dressing up as a man and saying, I'm cross dressing, I'm a man, but I'm dressed as a woman. That's kind of the Tu Wong Fu. If you remember the movie Tu Wong Fu, you know that movie?
I don't, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, and it's a funny movie. With Wesley Snipes and John Leguizamo and I forget the other actor's name, but Tu Wong Fu is a funny movie. It's about three guys who, I think they need some money or something. I don't remember the exact plot, but they dress up as women, all three of them, and they go across, from town to town, and they're, it's the plot of the movie, and it's funny, like Miss Doubtfire. Robin Williams was funny. Big Mama, Martin Lawrence dressed up as
White
a woman.
chicks.
The White Chicks, right? Wayne's brother, funny. That was funny. Even Eddie Murphy with Nutty Professor. Is that right? No, it was the Nutty Professor, right?
I don't know that movie. I'm
Okay,
terrible
well,
with movies.
Eddie Murphy dressed up as the Clumps, and he played the grandmother sometimes. Okay, we get it. There's some humor in it, but it was supposed to be a joke, and part of it, I guess you could say, normalized cross-dressing, and then we took mental health, and this is what makes it real personal for me. And in full transparency, what makes it real personal for me is 10 years ago, I was one at the forefront saying, hey, mental health is a crisis. It's the greatest social issue we face, and everybody deals with mental health and mental illness at some level. Mea culpa, I was wrong. I did not see what was coming. I wasn't mature enough and wise enough politically to see what was coming. Because not in my wildest imagination did I think mental health and the everyday struggles of people who deal with anxiety and depression and PTSD and eating disorders or certain phobias and whatnot, trauma from their childhood, all these different things. Never in my wildest imagination did I think that would be used to justify a complete detachment from reality and then to build a new society on the foundation of a baseless reality. I never thought that was, let's clarify. Everybody struggles with their mental health. The human condition is built upon two axiomatic emergent qualities, angst and despair. Every living being has to wrestle with angst and despair. Angst is what gets you up in the morning. If you weren't a little anxious, if you didn't have a little push to get up and do something and you sat still, you die. We see that in old people who retire and they don't have a hobby or they don't have a passion project or something that they're doing, a loved one. It's why a lot of times you see old people die very soon after their spouse dies, their significant other, because they find themselves sitting around, and that's not good for the body. It's not good for the mind, and what's not good for the mind isn't good for the heart, and what's not good for the heart ends up killing you, right? So angst kind of is the thing that gets you up out of bed in the morning. Despair is that finite reality that we all have to contend with. Every last one of us will eventually die. And
there it is, right? Now I was having issues with the Kung Fu. So I loaded up the Secret of Mana real quick. And we'll get into this. I've already been playing this game. And what is it saying? So I don't know where I was last at. But this is another classic game. It's a fighting game. It's a Legend of. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh well, wasted a candy stick. But this is one of my games. It's like Zelda, Overhead Zelda. I can't leave out yet. All right, we'll come back to this. But yeah, what do you think? How was Royce? Royce dropped some knowledge on us, right? And just the idea of gay or God being bad words to use around children is a part of the hypocrisy that's going on. They criminalized the term gay, and they put in fear in using the word God around children. How are we supposed to educate them if this is the case? And I mean, there it is. It is that simple. Two different schools of thought, whether it's Christianity or Muslim. The Jews are going, "What about us?" And then when we say we're not excluding them, right? But in fact they are, or we are, because we're saying that the Messiah already came and went and could still be here, walking the earth. And that's why we should be treating each and every person on the planet with respect. That's the idea behind it. Instead of us arguing, fighting over the multi-billionaires, we're supposed to be supporting ourselves, each other, and hey, we need this in order to fix all of these social issues that's going on today. We don't care if there's an extension being added to the White House, Trump. We care if these children are getting enough nourishment, and then the kids that are a little heavy, right? We need to get that exercise going. All right? It's all about balance. If you want to believe that love and hate are disjointed sets, there still has to be some kind of balance. But love, it has to conquer. If y'all think that hate is the one that's got to conquer all, then that's part of what you're seeing right now. You know, a lot of hate going on, not enough love. I mean, it is basic mathematics like that, but then as soon as we do an inequality sign on YouTube, they block your comment, block your post. I mean, yes, if you use a greater than or less than sign on YouTube, they don't allow it as your title, or even in the comment sections, because it's you're showing favoritism instead of, you know, the difference, right? I don't even think you can use the inequality sound. Like, you can do an equal/equal is what Professor Kill Parker did the other day. I kind of laughed at it. Like, you can't do the not equal, and then nope, you can't use the non equal sign. This is how weird it is, and just trying to explain mathematics to people. And I mean, Roy hit it right on the head. As LGBTQIA is all one group, but they're disjointed ideologies, but they're not, right? Because it's based on sexuality, not gender, right? It's based on sexuality, but gender is considered sex, right? So you do have some forms that act sex, M or F, right? Rarely do you see the ones that say gender, M or F, right? Because now it's the other gender is them and they, right? And then to connect gay to every single letter is just weird, but you know, and to disjoin it from the homo, and then just a 4-letter word homo might get me, you know, blocked. That's just weird to me, right? Especially when you go back to saying what gay originally was like it was Jack Tripper on Three's Company. It was a guy living with 2 girls, pretending to be that he hate women in order to please the landlord, Mr. Roper. There it is. There it is. And then Mr. Farley came and he made it even fun to Don Knotts. Shout out to Don Knotts, right? The great Don Knotts. But yeah, so now I'm about to go into Cory Booker, who's definitely being led with emotions. This is coming straight from a Congress session that they had based on the FBI. I'm sure some of y'all seen it before. This is fair use by the 1976 Copyright Act. Just 5 minutes for educational purposes on how we're not supposed to argue, or they think that they're debating But what we're supposed to be doing is educating everyone on the laws of reasoning. So, but I'll get more into that in a second as I get into this second little quick clip. Coming in 3, 2.
Russian oligarchs have not been reassigned. Public correction squad reassigned. People who defend us, defend children reassigned. You're not denying that. I've seen you time and time again attack my colleagues' premises of questions as a way to not answer the question. So let me end with this. I believe you have made our country weaker and less safe. I believe that we are more vulnerable to a major event, and I pray to God it doesn't happen. You've gutted the Bureau of Institutional Knowledge and Expertise. You fired or pushed out seasoned FBI officials, many with more than 20 years of experience, and were working on cases that were critical. You've been purging thousands of serious law enforcement officials who spent their careers keeping us safe, only to lower hiring standards in order to find anyone to replace them. And shockingly, you admitted in this hearing to Senator Coons that it would take 14 years to fill the vacancies at your agency. Many are the result of your purge. 20% of FBI agents are doing low-level immigration enforcement instead of their mission-critical work. You've disbanded entire task forces that stop election interference, foreign influence, public corruption. And who benefits from this? Well, corrupt people benefit from it. Criminals benefit from it. Vladimir Putin benefits from it. And it really makes me wonder who you're looking out for. It makes me think we can't trust you as a nation. You swear to release the Epstein files, but now you're withholding the Epstein files. You claim that you have a suspect in a serious assassination. Whoops, then you don't have a suspect. You know nothing about plans to remove FBI agents, yet you're directly involved in those plans. In the words of an ex-FBI official, you are overseeing, and I quote, generational destruction of the nation's premier law enforcement agency. Mr. Patel, in just 8 months, you have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. But I know FBI field agents. I've worked with them in Newark. No matter how truly bad you are, you can't undermine the legacy of agents who fight every day to keep us safe, but you can tarnish the integrity of the agency and undermine the agency's capacity. I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership. I don't think you're fit to hand the Bureau, but here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this, I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you want to say anything?
Yes, sir. That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my
I follow
time.
you on your social media posts that
It is
tear
my
this country
time
apart.
to address
There should be a
your
unifying-
falsehoods.
Oh,
You are an
you can try
embarrassment
all
to the
you
division
want
in this
to
country.
not take
Senator,
responsibility
my time.
for what
You
you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making
time
a
is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what my
you
time is.
Senator,
You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my time's over.
You may be the charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth talking over each other doesn't work. And I said if that happened, I asked Patel not to respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond. And he has the privilege to do that uninterrupted.
Mr.
So
Chairman, one point of
go
order.
ahead, Mr.
I've
Patel.
watched him talk over us, and you've never once criticized him for us not even being able to get our questions out.
Well,
He has been rude and disrespectful to senator after senator.
And when the senators were not giving him a chance to answer, I didn't stop the senator either. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If the FBI, under my 7-month leadership, were failing this administration in this country, why do we have 23,000 violent felons arrested this year alone? A double increase from that time last year. Why is it that we have seized 6,000 weapons? Why have we found 1,500 child predators and arrested them? Why have we 300 human traffickers in jail? Why have we found and identified 4,700 children? Why have we seized 1,600 kilograms of fentanyl in enough to kill a third of the American public, a 25% increase alone from last year, 88,000 kilograms of cocaine seized, 7,000 kilograms of meth seized, and that's just on our criminal operations in summer heat. How is it possible that we're taking 8 kilograms off the streets of the cities in New Jersey and preventing the deaths of 607,000 people this year alone, a failure of the FBI and my leadership? How is it that we have counterintelligence arrests already this year exceeding the numbers from the entirety of last year? 33% increase in PRC, 83% in Russia, 60% in the CI space as it relates to Iran, and we haven't even talked about CT, the southern border, the northern border.
Before Senator Cruz, I kind of feel like a broken record today. All this interest in FBI termination, yet my colleagues showed no intent or interest in when my whistleblowers suffered retaliation over the past years, particularly the past 4 years. Indeed, one whistleblower has alleged that Brian Driscoll's insubordination, whether an agent is on a hot button case or not, they ought to be held accountable for misconduct and weaponization. Senator Cruz.
And there you got it. You know what I mean? That's Cory Booker, and all he wanted to do was argue. I'm not scared of you. Hello. Like when you're led by emotions, you're a prisoner. He's a prisoner. He's a right? It's you're not even gonna let the guy rap, and the whole time he's trying to explain, answer your questions. It's you want him to answer just yes or no, like you are the Lord. I mean, I can't stand Cory Booker. He's such a bitch. I mean, he is, right? He's a bitch. And this is who they want to be the leader of the Black One, B1, foundational Black American movement. Right? Him, Barack, right? It's like we need you on the street level helping our people in the, right? Because we're losing our homes, our families are falling apart, right? And you arguing whether or not the Fed should what job they should be focused on, instead of getting the proper funds to foundational Black Americans. Like we've been saying this over and over and over since before 1960, all the way back when it was kind of cool to be a Black Republican under Booker T. Washington, Carter G. Woodson, Frederick Douglass, right? The list goes on. And now you want to say like, well, a return to those times is worse than, you know what I mean? Like, stop, dude. Right? All Black men are trying to do is to be the head of their homes. Period. They don't care if their wives want to do all the talking. Hey, go right ahead. But she has to be willing to accept correction, right? If Black women are still looking past what Joe Biden did and not accepting that Kamala Harris didn't take any accountability for opening up those borders like that. Hence, we're still lying on the impact that they had, bringing in all these illegals, bringing all these fentanyl and bad drugs to our communities, and what they were able to do with those drugs, the same thing they did with the crack in the 80s. Right? All you got to do is sprinkle a little bit in a common drug. That's how reefer became the gateway. If you don't know who you got the reefer from, right? You might be smoking something that's laced. Now you hooked on something higher. Love God, our Father, all the time. Hip hop life, love one. We'll get back to these fake media. Who care? You lost your jobs. Who gives a? You know how many black people lost their businesses under Biden? How many families were destroyed under Biden? Black families that was destroyed under Biden? And we supposed to be worried about you two fake ass reporters, fake comedians, losing your job because you ain't. And it's funny because you ain't say anything different than Tim Black. Tim Black and Professor Black Truth said the same thing when they saw that interview with Trump going, you know what I mean? Okay, we fix the West Wing, right? Like, cause he doesn't really know who Charlie is, right? Just because he got 3 million subscribers on YouTube, right? He can pack stadiums, not like Kendrick Lamar can. Kendrick Lamar is packing all types of stadiums and wearing an X around his neck like he a part of the NOI, the Nation of Islam. And y'all want to downplay it like hip hop is the, like we the thugs, like we the criminals, right? When we spitting all types of dope lyrics. That Common in Pete Rock album, it's a Muslim gospel. I mean, no disrespect to the religion. That's the gospel album of the year. That album, that's the hip hop album of the year. It's all about loving God, our Father, all the time. Hip hop life, love one. One love, one love. Be happy just to have just one love. All that dang hate. God is love, hip hop is life, time is precious. So treat it like it's holy. Because money is nothing more than the fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist. Hip hop is actually the art of making the most out of life. Peace and happiness to you all.